Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and let me start today by thanking so many of you who joined us on the YouTube premiere that we did yesterday for this puzzle, the 15th Day of Christmas by Chris Moore. If you've not seen yesterday's video and not tried this puzzle, I urge you to. I'm not going to claim for a moment that it's easy, but it has got some spectacular logic in it. It is an absolute masterpiece, so it's really worth it. I mean, devote some time to it over Christmas, maybe, yeah, thanks anyway. I really enjoyed watching the video with many of you yesterday. What have we got for you today, you may be wondering? Well, this is a sequel to another wonderful puzzle. This is called Pile of 20, and it's by Kane Puzzles. Now, Kane Puzzles, some of you may know this, is the pseudonym of Can Ertuğran from Turkey, and Can is one of the very best Sudoku solvers. Well, actually, Can is one of the very best Sudoku solvers in the world, full stop. But he is also one of the very best in the under 18 category in the world. I think second best in the world. And Can is only 14 years old. So this is a sequel, of course, to Pile of 15, which was an absolutely mesmerizing Killer Sudoku I did a couple of weeks ago. And if this is even a patch on that, and I've no doubt it is, it will be absolutely wonderful. So just as you're going through this, think about that. It is set by a 14-year-old. It is just breathtaking how clever some of the people who watch this channel are. Now, what do I have to tell you about today? A couple of things. Let's start off with a birthday. I want to say very happy birthday to Josh from your friend Theo. And I believe you're over in China. I didn't even know you could watch our videos in China, so I'm very pleased to hear that you can. And I hope, Josh, you're able to have a brilliant day. I don't know if you'll be able to get chocolate cake over there. I sincerely hope so. Anyway, have a great one. Next, oh yes, over on Patreon, there are a couple of things to mention here. Many of you have been desperate for the Phistomefel Sudoku hunt. It is very nearly done. Phistomefel and I have been corresponding this morning. I think all the puzzles are ready. It just basically needs to be final checked and PDF'd. So maybe even tomorrow afternoon it'll be released. If we release it, we'll release it at 4 o'clock UK time. And it's a Christmas present to all of you on Patreon who support the channel. Thank you so much for your support there. We really appreciate it. We can think of no better way than to share this Sudoku hunt with you. And the other Sudoku hunt, of course, that we've got going on is the Cryptic Scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. I've got some more names to read out for you for correct solvers, but also today is the final day to enter the competition. So by the time this video goes live, you'll still have a few hours left. We're a little bit generous about hours left because we don't understand time zones very well. Yeah, it's really last chance Saloon. So if you're planning on sending us an entry, please do it really soon. And very well done to the following who have solved the whole thing: Jim South and Gwen Kelly, Osher Lerner, Simon Lorin, Carl Faust, Matt Blanchard, Don Stanley, Dennis, Sarah Garrett, Brian Scott, Mike Ewing, Oystein maybe, Amandrud, Nina Schwind, Joe Parl, Joris Kodard, Simon Neller, Chris Mears, Alexander Herges, Mikey Turway, or it could be Turvey actually, Alex Miller and Alexander Vosch. All of you, well, very well done indeed. Fantastic solving. And don't worry if you haven't heard your name yet. That is because I am somewhat behind. I don't like to take the whole video reading names out. But we've got lots and lots more correct entries to announce in due course. So let's have a look at Pile of 20 by Kane Puzzles and see what Chan has concocted for us today. So the rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, i.e. place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column and 3x3 box. So normal Sudoku. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. And you can see that what we've got here is a stack of 20 cages. So we have to make sure, for example, those 4 digits there add up to 20. Now, have we got... Yes, we do have the opportunity for repeat digits. Look, absent the rule about you can't repeat digits within a cage, those two digits could have been the same number. So if we made, oh, well, they couldn't be 6. Let's make them 7. If these had been 7, these would have had to add up to 6 in order to get to 20, and you could see that could be a 5 and a 1. Whoops, 5 there, 1 there. They would add up to 20. And in theory, that would work. It doesn't break the rules of Sudoku. But because you can't repeat a 7 in a cage, or indeed any digit within a cage, that would break the rules of the puzzle. So don't do that. You'll get the puzzle wrong. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And we'll start off, shall we? I'm not used to having given digits in this number. I'll start off with doing some pencil marking, I think. 2s have got to be over there. Okay, this is probably not going to go much further. 6 is down here. 5s nearly look interesting. Okay, so this is just no 6s are in one of those. I'm not seeing anything terribly definitive here. So I imagine what we're going to have to do is investigate the stack of 20. How many 20s have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cages, each of which adds up to 20. So we've got 140's worth of digits in that big rectangle. 140 plus 2 lots of 13 is 166. So by the secret we've got 4. Right, okay, so we need to talk about the secret. So often important in arithmetic puzzles. But now it's something I only share with my favourite people, as you know. But of course, I'm going to let you in on the secret. Don't tell anybody, though. Now, the secret is that any complete column of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. It's the same for any box or any row. And if you add up the digits 1 to 9 once each, you get 45, which is the triangular number for 9, i.e. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. Now, if we apply that sort of 4 times, then we know that those 4 columns together, let's make them yellow, those 4 columns sum to 4 lots of 45, which is 180. But we've got 7 20 cages in there, so that's 140. And that means these 8 cells have got to add up to 40. But we've got 13 there and 13 there, so that's 26 of the 40, which means these 2 squares have to add up to 14. Now, how can we do that? Ordinarily, we could use 5, 9 or 6, 8. But here, we've got 5s and 6s ruling that out. So we can instantly double 7 those cells. Now, yeah, actually almost useful pencil marks emerge from that cacophony of yellow. Now, okay. Now I remember the pile of 15s puzzle, and what we had to do in that was sort of allocate digits into the stack in very particular ways. So there's going to be some trick to this involving, well, I don't know what it's going to involve yet, but what we're probably going to have to do is count the digits. So we've got 2 2s left to put in these 4 columns. So I'm just looking at the outside digits here, noting that we have a 2, a 5, a 6, and a 7. Well, we've got 2 2s, 2 5s, 2 6s, and 2 7s in these 8 cells. So every digit that isn't 2, 5, 6, and 7 needs to appear 4 times in the stack. Now that probably, I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have an encyclopedic knowledge of how to construct 4-cell 20 cages, and I really do not have that. I think the other one, I'm trying to get, I've got deja vu a bit. I think the other puzzle that Chan did it was definitely 15 cages, but I think it was 3-cell 15 cages, because I seem to remember things like 1s and 7s were restricted because you couldn't put 2 7s into a cage. If there was a 7 and a 1 in the cage, for example, it would instantly be impossible because the other digit would be a repeated digit. But with 4-cell cages, that feels far more difficult. Oh, okay. I can get those two digits at least a little. I know something about those two digits. Look, we've got I've got 60's worth of cells there in those 320 cages. So I've got 60 plus what's that? 1324. So these have to, right, that's 84. So these have to add up to 6 without using 5. So they're not 1 5. So that's a 2 4 pair. Now, do we know the order? No, I don't think I do. It looks like the 2 wants to be up this side, doesn't it? But I'm not sure we can actually do that. So how's that impacted on my allocating digits to my 720 cages? I've now got a 2 4 pair in this column. So that's the that's the third 2. So if we think about these columns, obviously each column is going to have a 2 in it. So I need to put 4 2's in the yellow cells, and at the moment I've sort of allocated 3 of them. And the 4th one is going to be in this column. No, this is not how to think about this, is it? This is not... I haven't quite twigged the idea, I'm afraid. Oh, maybe I can do more maths. I've got 29 there, so those 3 cells add up to 16. I don't think that's restricted. I've got the similar here, 27, so I've got 18 into those 3 cells. Right, okay. So what digits are the most restricted in terms of 4 cell 20 cages? I'm not sure. It feels like 1 is quite restricted. But not in a way that I'm really... No, I was just thinking, could I put 1... I can put 1 in a cage with a 2. So I can't rule 1 out of whichever of these cells is a 2. Because you could put 2 1 8 9 in. Maybe I've got to do more Sudoku. Hang on a second, let me just check that again. Oh, no, I suddenly saw the 6 here. I was like, whoa, but no, that's not it. I know exactly the composition of those 20 cages, don't I? In the sense that because I know those 6 digits, I know exactly... all right. Here's a point. Here is an interesting thought. One of these 20 cages is extreme. It's 1 2 8 9. That must be right. That must be right, because I've got 3 cages here, but I've got 4 high digits left to place. I've not put 8's and 9's into these columns yet. So I can put, so in other words, I've got 2 8's and 2 9's to put into these 3 cages. Well, there is simply no way to do that without repeating a high digit in one of the cages. And I can't repeat the same digit in a cage. I can't put 2 9's in one of them. That won't work because that's against the rules. So one of them has an 8 and a 9 in it, along with a 1 and a 2. Now, what does that mean? Well, one of the things that means is whichever one of these is, if we just make that 2 for a moment, I don't know whether this is 2 or this is 2, but obviously if this was 2, this 2 sees the entirety of that cage. So that cage couldn't then be the 1 2 8 9. So the 1 2 8 9 will be away from the 2 that we know is in one of those cells. Is this 8 9 doing something clever? Right. Now, Right, okay, so another thing we could think about perhaps is whichever one of these is 1, 2, 8, 9, the other two cages do not have 8 and 9. So imagine that was 1, 2, 8, 9 just for a moment. We've still got to put an 8 and a 9 into these 8 cells because we've only put 1 8 and 1 9 in these two columns. But we can't put them in the same 4-cell cage because then we will need another 1 and another 2, and that will put 3 2s into 2 columns of the grid, and that will definitely break the rules of Sudoku. So we've got to put an 8 in one of them and a 9 in the other, and we've got to put 3 in both of them. No 6 in them. Right, hang on, this is getting confusing. So we've got to put, so if we put 9 and 3 into one of them, let me just think about this. 9 and 3 into one of them, that's 12. So we need, that's good, isn't it? Because if we've got 9, I think we must have 9 and 3 in one of them, and then we need 8 more, which can't be 3 5, and it can't be 2 6, so it must be 9 1 7. 9 3 1 7. So one of these cages, I don't know which one. One of these cages is 9. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, that one still could be, I think. One of these cages is 9 3 1 7. I'm actually going to write the options up here. So one of them is 1 3 7 9, and the way I've got that is by noting there must be a 9 in one of these, and there are 2 3s left to place in these columns. So that cage that has a 9 in it will have a 3 in it, and then it can't have a 6 in it, and it can't repeat the 3. So the only way of getting the other 2 digits to add up to 8 is with a 7 and a 1. So one of them is 1 3 7 9. One of them is 1 2 8 9. Now the other one is just going to be the other 4 digits that are left, and we know one of those is a 3. One of them is an 8. One of them is a 7, because I've only got 1 7 in these columns. Oh no, I've got 2 7s. Sorry, it's not a 7. One of them is a... I've only got 1 4. One of them is a 4. And this is where we're going to find I've messed this up because I've got another repeated digit. No, 5. That looks good. 3 4 5 8. That does add up to 20. That would be the second 5. Right. So we've got 3 4 5 8, 1 2 8 9, and 1 3 7 9 in some order in these 3 cages. This is lovely and mad. So what does that mean? Can I rule any of these combinations? I don't even think I can rule the 7 one out of this one. If that was 7 and that was 1 3 9, that might be possible, I think. Oh, the 5 one can't go there. Look, right, okay, that's a minor point. So see this one, 3 4 5 8. If that went there, you couldn't put the 5 in it. That 5 would see all the cells. So this one is either 1 2 8 9 or 1 3 7 9. So it has... That's interesting. So it's got 1 and 9 in it, this one. This one here definitely has 1 and 9 in it. And I know that this is pencil marking across a box, but I've got no better way of really keeping track of that. So this has got 1 and 9 in it. 3 4 5 8. Oh, that's pretty. That is very pretty. I've spotted it. Right. This one is this one actually is the most restricted one by miles, because look, that square by our naughty friend who sometimes raises his head in the puzzles, by our naughty friend Sudoku, it's not 4 because of this 2 4 pair, it's not 5 because of the given 5, and it's not 3 and 8. So that cell is not 3 4 5 or 8. In other words, that box is not 3 4 5 or 8, which means that cage is 3 4 5 or 8, because that's the only... We worked out it couldn't be that one because of the 5. So this is 3 4 5 8. Somewhat well, I can actually remove... Oh, no, I can. Look, I've got the 4 5 pair in this column. was about to malign the fact that Sudoku had instantly deserted the building, having done something, but no, Sudoku did actually remain on scene. Now that's a 4-5 pair, so that's a 2. Right, so that gets us a 2 and a 4, which are very welcome digits. That gives... Oh, no, hang on. Sudoku again raises its shy head above the parapet. Now I've got a 4-5 pair there and a 4-5 pair there. So this seems to have to be a 4-5-6 triple out of absolutely nowhere. And... Right, so we've done this one. Let's get rid of that one. We've got to put 1, 2... Oh, that cell... Right, here's an interesting point. That cell is not a 1 or a 9 anymore, because there's a common digit between both of the remaining combinations, or 2 common digits. There's 1 in both of them, and there's 9 in both of them. So there must be a 1 and a 9 in this little cage, which means that cannot be a 1 or a 9 by Sudoku. It also, right, okay, so this is a 1-9 pair, because, well, imagine you tried to put 1 and 9 into 2 of those 3 cells. That would tell you that the 1 and 9 in this cage had to be both in that cell, and there are no such things in Sudoku, at least in normal Sudoku, as Schrödinger cells. So things are not simultaneously in 2 states of existence. So that tells us that this must be a 1 or a 9, and then whatever is in this triple as a 1 or a 9 can only go in one place in this box. So that's a 1-9 pair in this column, which means that cell is something else. It is 7 by the power of magic. Sudoku again. Now if that's 7, now we know this cage is nature. It has revealed its nature. It's well, these are a 1-3-9 triple. This is lovely, isn't it? It's really clever stuff. It's not monstrously hard, but it's hard enough you have to actually think quite hard about it. 1, 2, 8, 9 now go in the middle T Tetramino, so that square is now a 3, and that square is now an 8. We know that's a 1 or a 9, so come on, Simon, don't be slovenly. That's not an 8 anymore. That's not a 9 anymore. Now what do we do? We've got this 4, 5, 6 triple here, so we're going to have triples. Oh, the 2 in this box is placed. We haven't put 8 and 7. Oh, the 7 in this box is placed. This is great. Suddenly things are working. Now I'm deleting these before I start using them in Sudoku, which would be totally inappropriate. And those squares at the bottom are 1, 3, and 9, which I don't seem to know anything about. Now, can we do more Sudoku-related stuff? The 4 and the 2 are now resolved. 1, 3, 4, 9 in the top of the grid. Don't particularly like that. We're not going to have a 3 in the corner on the left-hand side of the grid. I can see that now. Okay. So is there anything... I don't think there's anything Sudoku-wise I'm going to be able to do in these columns, is there? Unless I've missed something. I'm not seeing any pencil mark eliminations I can possibly do. So we must have to turn our attention to... Well, that cage looks like it's got to have a 1 in it to me. Because if it doesn't have a 1 in it, it would be a 4, and then 3 digits that would be a minimum of 5, 6, and 8. And 5, 6, and 8 add up to 19, plus 4 is 23. That's too high. So there is definitely a 1 in here. Oh, I see. I actually know what this is. I'm actually going to go central pencil mark, because once I add 1 to 4, I get 5 knowledge bomb from cracking the cryptic, and then the other 2 digits have to add up to 15 without using 7, so that must be 1, 6, 9. Which, well, it means that 1 and 9 are now in these cells in row 1. That's weird. I thought that was going to do something profound, but it doesn't seem to want to. Let's have a look at those squares. They're 4, 5 and 8, with that not allowing itself to be 4. And... ah! Come on! What's that done? Is it... oh, that's... oh, look. The top cell by Sudoku is actually a 4. Right, so it's done. It has done something, and now we know what those squares are. They are 1, 3. Oh, I clicked tick there, which was a mistake. I have not finished the puzzle by any manner nor means. This is a 1, 3, 9. That's not 9. That's not 3. 3 in the corner is becoming a possibility. Okay. Oh, 3. I can play. Sorry. Look, 3 is just there by Sudoku. I hadn't seen that. So this is a 1, 9 pair, which means that's a 6, which means we've got a 1, 9 pair here, 1, 9 pair there. We already knew we had a 1, 9 pair up there. Right, what about this row then? I need 4, 5 and 8 into these squares. That's not able to be 8. We've got... okay, we've got... well, these two stripes we know much more about than we did before, didn't we? So we've got 20 here, 29. If that's a 1, these two have to add up to 15, which would make them 6, 9. Oh, that might work. Okay, sorry, I was thinking I could eliminate that. 29, if that's 9, we've got 38. And then these two squares would have to add up to 7 without being 2 5s. So it'd have to be 1 6 or 3 4. Bobbins. Right, I can't do that. I'm going to try this column. We've got 20 plus 27, 33. Oh, right, okay, so those two squares have to add up to 12 by the secret in order to get 45 in the column. Those two squares have to add up to 12, so there's only one way we can do that. We're going to have to put the 9 at the top. So that's, look, that becomes a 3, and that displaced a pencil mark, so that gives me a 7 here, a 7 here. What was the total we needed for this column now? Can't remember. Did this need to be... let me do it again. We've got 20 there, plus 10, that's 30. Right, so these have to be a 6, 9 pair because that can't involve a 7. And we know the order. So that's got to be a 6. That's got to be a 9. So this square's a 1 by our old friend, emerging again from the wilderness. 8 in this row can only go in one place, so this has got to be a 4 or a 5. 8 is placeable in box number 3. Which means that's no longer an 8, so I've got a 4, 5 pair. That gives me an 8 back over here, a 5 here. Those two squares have got to be 6 and 7. I know the order. Good grief. The Sudoku is helping me. Why? This never happens. Now what do I need down here? 1, 4 and 8. 8 goes in the corner. Oh, not 1, 4. No, it is 1, 4 and 8. I've got the 6. I just need to tidy my pencil marks. I can do the 4 and the 1. 4 goes here, 1 goes here. I haven't put 1 in this column or 8, so I can do that. That seems to get me a 9 and a 2, which means that those squares have got to be a... oh, I've got to put 8 in this. Yeah, that's got to be 8. That's got to be 1. Good grief. Okay. I'm trying to keep the surprise out of my voice at the puzzle actually yielding its secrets to me. That's a 6 by Sudoku. That's a naked single. Those two squares have got to be a 2, 9 pair, which I can do as well. So that becomes a 2. Good lord. So we've got 3, 4, 5 in here. Okay, that's more like it. I don't think I can immediately write those in. I get a 4, 5 pair. Oh no, 3. I can do that. I can do the 3. Okay, let's have a look at this row. Those have got to be 4, 5 and 6. and that's not able to be 6, and that is, and that is. Okay, so there the trail may run cold. This column needs 1s, 3s, 4s and 5s, so that cell is a 3 or a 5 only. And that cell, 1, 3 or 4. I've still got a very real chance of a 3 in the corner. What's going on along here? This looks like it's more done than I'm giving it credit for. Either that or I've made an error, because oh yeah, it's the 4. Look, the 4 is sorting the 4 and the 5. So that's a 3. Oh, not a 3 in the corner. Oh, it's ruled out everything. Oh, sorry, we didn't get one. Okay, so that at the bottom is a 4, so that's a 5. Let's do some tidying. This is a 3 now. That's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 6, that's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 6. Wow. That's a 5, that's a 4. What are these two squares? 1 and something. 1 and 4, which I can do again. I've done it. It's finished. Unless I've made an error, we have finished the puzzle. Oh no, we haven't. 1 and 9, but we have now. Good grief. Wow. Yes, I did it. That felt very smooth towards the end. It was incredibly surprising. Once we'd worked out the jiggery pokery that Chan had sort of inserted into the puzzle in these columns, it became very straightforward. But it was really interesting that you could actually narrow down. Although we knew the cells, we knew the exact digits that were placeable in those 320 cages, the thing that was surprising to me at least was that you could immediately allocate the digits to those 3 cages absolutely precisely, and then you could actually work out the order of them, which was very, very cute. It's very cute that this digit's restricted. It's very cute the geometry working with this 5 so prettily. So that is a lovely puzzle. I really like that. It was sort of Killer Sudoku is something, it's so difficult to be original with, because so many, think how many Killer Sudokus there have been over the years now. There have been a lot, and to still manage to surprise and entertain and delight, as Chan seems to be able to do at the tender age of 14, is quite simply startling. So Chan, take a bow. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptid.